All of this is open to us now. It's just phenomenal how things very quickly will start to fall into place now.
What is a clairvoyant?
Oh, somebody who, somebody who, somebody who knows. Somebody
Okay,
who knows.
so it's a seeing?
That's, yes, clairvoyant, voy is seeing, clairsentience, clairaudient, they're all the senses. But yeah, it's a whole, it's that you get a sense of the thing and you know it to be true.
How did you realize you were clairvoyant?
I was born with it. It's remembrance is what it is. It's like kids forget the nature of what we really are as humans, and some don't forget, and I happen to be one of those.
Did it run in your family?
My mother was very clear, and also she's the only one I couldn't read her mind. And I think that was like so that I knew to be good at it. Because it was, so she was pretty good, yeah.
When was the first time you realized that you had this gift?
Always. I think I realized that other people didn't. I thought, well, that's not true. They all have, but they don't know they have. So that was, I remember that early, that was a feeling that I had, was that everybody knows everything, but they're just, not utilizing that as much as somebody else might.
Well, there's thought that, we can stimulate certain things in our, hiking, meditation, being alone in nature, stimulate certain things to be able to tap into, sort of this records that, I don't know if it's called Akashic.
Akashic, yeah.
Records. But do you think we all have this ability, or people are just more sensitive than others?
Well, we all have it, but, some don't want to do that. They'd rather, fix a flat tire. There's just different skills that everybody can cultivate in the world. I remember in my block that I lived on, I could talk, all the dogs. The dogs would talk to me, and most of the cats. Although I'm not a cat person, so there weren't. I didn't have as a relationship with the cats as much as the dogs and the people. And I knew what was going on with all the people in the neighborhood.
Is that hard though? Because if you do pick up on things, maybe you don't really want to know about.
You don't want to know.
There's a lot of times that it'd be better with blinders on, and if you are sensitive and you can pick up on things, how do you say, you know what, I'm going to stay in my lane. I don't want to know in that lane.
No, I wanted to know everything.
Oh, you did want to know. Okay.
I want to know, and I did. I had all the. I knew all the feelings that people had,
Sure.
And that was precious. That was, that was a wonderful treasure to be able to know people. And that doesn't mean that a lot of people didn't want to know, because I had to learn that they might not want to know about what's going on with them.
Oh, sure.
So then I had to not say.
Right, and is there, in the spiritual world, is there an ethical way to not bring up something, even if you know that something's wrong or something is pending?
Don't bring it up.
You don't bring it. Okay, it's as simple as that, right? And that is the ethical way to handle it.
I remember on my block, there was a young girl, and she had rheumatic fever, and her friend, they were playing, and they ran up the stairs, and her mother shouted at her, don't do that, because she's got rheumatic fever, she could die. And the next day she died.
Oh no.
And so the girlfriend was all of her life. I mean, I know her now, and she was just she felt so upset about that. But the truth is that the young girl was so happy that she had her friend, and they ran up the stairs before she died. That was what was a good thing for her. So I got to tell her that.
Is that similar to mediumship, where you're able to
Medium, yeah, I can do that too.
so you're able to communicate with people that have passed on, and are any of those people that you've communicated with that have passed on, were they scared to have died?
Some were scared until they passed on, and then they weren't. You know, they had certainly some ideas about that. It's interesting. I'm working now with somebody who is in hospice, who she works with people who are dying, and she works with very high-powered people, CEOs, and you know, people in high areas of power, and they have regrets about their choices that they made for other people. In other words, if they're head of a corporation and they know that the lake was being polluted by their manufacturer, and they still let that happen, they are very interested now from the other side to speak of what are people's regrets and that they can do something about it before they die. So that's a project that's going on now.
That's fascinating, right? Because I mean, for lack of a better term, we hear the phrase that like corporate psychopath. That's something I've heard of. But if you realize that maybe that after the fact, I guess, passing on, that maybe if there were regrets, and that's something that's not part of.
It's interesting too, because if it's somebody who's very, very powerful, once they cross over, this is a different use of power for them to then will, you know, what can they do now for those who are here to shift those regrets.
Interesting, that's true. So taking that powerful sort of will or personality, but then using it in a good way. Not that they use it in a bad way necessarily.
But they did use it in a bad way, which is why they regret it. They had regrets.
I see. Yeah.
And that's why they want to do something about it now.
That's fascinating.
Because of that.
Wow, that's really, really fascinating. Because we think that different people that made decisions about us and our life, or other people we read about, that they had no heart. But if we find out that actually maybe they were affected.
Yes, and there's more of them that knew they were doing what was untenable to other people, unjust to people, but yet they went ahead and did it anyway. Sometimes you think, well, are they not thinking or not knowing that that's what's going on, but no, it was not caring.
Sure.
So that's would be a regret, I would think.
Right. Do you find that when you tell people that you're clairvoyant,
I don't tell them.
Oh, you don't tell them. Okay. What's the reason for that?
Well, because I don't, they don't care.
They don't care. Well, some people may keep coming to you with, hey, just like a doctor, I got this pain. Well, there's this one thing. Can I just ask you this question? Or should I buy this stock?
People come because I get this all the time when people call and they said, I don't know why I'm calling you, but so-and-so said, call Viki. So that's just it, call Viki. That's the only criteria.
Sure. So you don't, as a rule, say to people that you are clairvoyant. Do you find, though, if people find out that they may be scared or they are intrigued?
They probably roll their eyes or think, oh boy. I don't know what they think. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, right?
Mm-mm. But when people call as clients, then we go from where they are, wherever they are, and whatever is needed at that position. So if it's if they want mediumship, if they want clairvoyance, or if they want just let's talk about your real estate.
Sure. Is clairvoyance the same as being an empath?
Well, similar. Yeah, empath is that you feel everything.
So it's similar, but maybe clairvoyant.
Clairvoyant has insightfulness to it, and that you see trajectories, you see stories, you see, where people are in wounds in their whole architecture in terms of like why they came into Earth, why they're here, what they're doing here, how they're progressing on what they're doing here, how that is going for them, what is, what's stuck, what pains them, what would make them feel triumphant, where's their money, all of those things. It's all kind of written in front of them for what they're here to do.
Sure. And have you ever gone for a reading from another clairvoyant to see how
I
that
have,
would be?
right now I'm working with someone, and we're doing some amazing, just astonishing work on other planets and galaxies and just what's future of Earth and where we're going in terms of humans. And so there's lots going on.
And would you say there are things to be happy about when we look at the news
Extremely.
cycle? Okay, we see, civil war. And
Yeah, we see a lot of, right now, as you know, things are looking upside down. And they will continue to be upside down in order to go right side up. And that's what's occurring this year very rapidly. If you'll notice that you might have been fearful about something, and then you did it, and it was so easy. It worked. You think, oh, that never did that before like that. And that just like sensations of things moving along in a different kind of energy. Like you think the energy is going to be heavy, and then it's light, and it goes whoop, and then that surprises you, and then that sets you up for allowing the next thing to happen that is light and progresses from there. So that's what's going on now.
So in some sense, we have to get sort of all the, I know someone had used this analogy years ago, it's like a dirty sprinkler head, and get the dirty water out so that the clean water can come through.
Right, any analogy like that can work out. But there's a lot going on these days, like for instance, we're all looking at war on the 6 o'clock news, and all the destruction and rubble. It seems like we're seeing a lot of pictures of just, blah,
Yeah.
It's just destroyed. So these are important things for us to see. And that's not only in war rubble, but it's also earthquakes and floods and such. So it's just ruination, the falling down of. And chaos is there so that it goes through to order. Order dissolves into chaos. Chaos, sets up into order. So that's what's also occurring now. So it's all good news. It's just extraordinary for human beings right now to be going through what's going on.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to see people suffering, and you feel like you can't do anything about it. And even if you donate, it might not work. How am I helping someone?
So yeah, everybody's identity is up, and in identities, like for instance, yours might be how you see yourself as a helper, and then you see yourself powerless as a helper. Like, well, if you see yourself as a helper, then you're helping, but no, you have like a frustration about it, and so then that's the identity that's up. And that's an important one to be able to look at, because then you want to make choices around that. And you want to then decide, well, no, I want to be a helper who helps. Or I don't want to be a helper anymore. Or, you just look at the whole range of possibilities around that, and then you solidify where it is that you do stand in that. So everybody's identity is up now. Everybody on planet Earth. So it's pretty exciting times.
Yeah, but there's things to be, as dark as things look.
It's just all fine stuff. And every human is, humans are so precious. They're just going through it, and they're doing it. And this is asking a lot. This is very difficult for people right now, and everybody's doing it. And everybody signed up to be here now. They're thrilled to be here, even though it might seem like a $20 burrito on a taco stand. It's like, it might be much to have to take care of.
You say you have full remembrance, a photographic memory? Is that the same thing?
No. It's I just know where I came from. So that when I was born, I was, and you remember, it's like you remembered vaguely from then, and you have intuitive characteristics in yourself. So there's, well, where did we come from? And did we come from someplace? Or who am I? Or what's going, what? Was I here before? No. Yes? Who am I? Where did I come from? What am I doing here? What do I contribute? So all those things, those are things I knew, but people have to find those things out when they're here and decide for themselves.
Is clairvoyance similar to tarot, to Reiki healing?
Those are methodologies of healing. Reiki's very good in terms of energy in people, and that it's all energy in your body. And so then if you're living an energy of that's going to be a scrapey kind of bad disease thing. But if you change that energy to maybe that's going to feel better. Maybe that's going to give you more expanded lungs or something. So that's Reiki. That's energy. That's a component. Reflexology is where you press the meridians of the foot with your socks on or off. And so there's many methodologies that are very beneficial. I used to talk about sound healing like 20, 30 years ago, and people would roll their eyes. But now it's becoming very prominent in the world, and it's very useful and effective.
Right, the sound bath.
Sound everything,
it's like a gong.
Gong.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Just songs, like they identified that da-da-da-da is a cancer sound in the body. It's the rhythm of a cancer in the body.
Oh,
Da-da-da-da. Beethoven, when did he do? He composed that a long time ago.
That's fascinating. Is that because it's on a down note? We're going down?
Well, it's the rhythm. Da 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 da. That's not a health. That doesn't. Did you see the burden of it?
Yeah, it's heavy.
It's a heavy duty thing. Whereas Bach, and that's really very healthy for people. It's just really amazing.
Wow.
Just sounds now. So on your cell phone, you could, if you have something going on, or maybe let's say you're in a car accident. Let's create this. If you're in a car accident and you press on your phone a certain musical tone, you can walk away from the car accident. Because boom, the accident was that kind of a sensation and an energy. So the sound can undo it.
Interesting.
All of this is open to us now. It's just phenomenal how things very quickly will start to fall into place now.